Hello and welcome to another exciting Blender tutorial. Today we're going to be making this really cool sci-fi cave scene. I hope you're excited. Now today we're going to be making this really cool sci-fi cave scene. We're going to be modeling this cave using the sculpt brush and doing these crystals and a lot of cool material things. Now we're going to cover as much as I can in this tutorial here for YouTube, but there's going to be a lot of details that I leave out. If you want to catch all the materials and all the lighting and all the effects, head over to Patreon. You can find it all there if you join, as well as on YouTube if you join at the All Access Pass level and higher. Special shout out to everybody who's a supporter of the channel. Thank you so much for your support and making tutorials like this happen. All right, let's jump into it. Just kick off by getting rid of everything. I'm just going to start fresh. And I'm going to create my scene following the X location, right? The X direction in my scene. I want to be able to have everything easy to move without having to look at, oh, where am I? How am I oriented? Really key. And I'm going to block it out. So I'm going to start off with a cylinder and I'll scale this up like this. This is going to be my platform thing in the middle. I'm going to create a cube here. Let's see, scale X, grab X, bring this here, scale Z. And I think I'm going to rotate it down. I'm going to do some kind of like staircase leading up to it. Shift D to duplicate, grab X and rotate. I might go into edit mode and hit number 3 to go to face mode and grab X and just drag that one out just so it's nice and big. So I'm thinking like my shot, right, is going to be something like from this angle, something like this. All right, so now I need to think about the space and how it's going to frame. Actually, I might even go ahead and make the camera. I'm going to go Shift A, camera, and 0 my number keypad to jump into the camera, pop open the side thing, go to view, and tick camera to view and hit in just to hide that menu again. And I'm going to just come into view. Sometimes it's really good to model to a camera if you know what your shot's going to be, because then you don't waste time. You're not spending time working on stuff that you're never going to use. So let's take the Y. We'll set it to 0. Put it right in the middle. I'm going to 0 out my Y rotation. I'll set my Z rotation to 90, and my X I'll set to 90. Now I'll bring it down 85. That's good. I'm going to want to go for kind of a wider shot, I think. So maybe we'll go to a 24. I think I'm going to go cinematic. So have a nice widescreen look. So 1080 multiplied by 2.35, 2538. I'm going to take my camera. I'm going to go to the camera tab, go to viewport display, and come to passport 2. And I'm going to turn that right up just to darken the outside of my frame. And that's helps me focus and just look at, what it is that I'm doing. I'm also going to take my camera to view, and I'm going to right click on it and set it to quick favorites. If you haven't done that already, it's really useful because now you can just hit Q in your viewport and turn it on and off at will. So I'm going to do that. And that way I can roll my mouse wheel. Instead of pushing the camera forward in space, it's actually just going to make the view bigger. So it's a bit more helpful. Okay, so now let's map out this cave. And I'm going to go Shift A, Mesh, Cube, scale this up, bring this down. I'm thinking of this like this platform is going to be like on some kind of pillar. So I might create a cylinder, rotate Y, 90, scale it right up, go into edit mode, and I'm going to delete the faces that are on the caps basically. So we're going to delete the caps. And I will Control R, and I'm going to create a bunch of loop cuts. And I want to extend it out. So I'm actually going to use an array for that. So I'm going to go add modifier, add an array, and I'm going to send it out in the oh, that's right, I've rotated it. It's always a bit confusing with array modifiers when you rotate, but you don't apply the rotation. It's telling me that it wants to go in the Z direction. Anyways, -1 is going to send me in the right direction. And I'm just going to jump back in my camera and I'll just send this out a little bit. That's probably far enough. I probably don't need to go that far. I think that'll be good. Yeah, I think that should work. And I'm going to apply it. So I'm going to go up here and apply. And so now you can see I've got this mesh that goes out. And I'm going to create a bit of displacement on it just to get things started. And I might also go into edit mode and scale Z because I want it kind of more of like an oval shape. So I'm going to come here now to this modifiers tab, and I'm going to add a displacement. And then I'm going to click new to create a new texture. I'm going to click this button, which sends me to the texture tab. And in the texture tab, I can come over here and switch from image to movie to clouds. And clouds gives me this nice distortion. I can change the size. So I'm just going to increase the size, and you can see how it just kind of like ripples across the surface of the object and helps create this kind of rocky landscape kind of feel to it. So I'm going to come over to the displacement and I'm going to apply it. So I'm going to come right to this little drop down and click apply. So now I've got everything sort of as mesh. There's no modifiers at play in this this at all. So I'm also going to right click and shade smooth. What we're going to do now is we're going to take this and we're going to sculpt some rock into it. So with this cave selected, I'm going to go from object mode into sculpt mode. And I'm going to come up here and turn on Dyno Topo. Now I can start to sculpt this into it with a little more detail. So let's see, I'm going to come over to blob and I just want to set my strength to max. Radius is fine. And I'm going to go plus and, oh, okay, cool, interesting. Because I'm on the inside of this cave, plus pushes things out. So if I want it to go towards us, I need to go negative. Oh, you got to remember, always turn Dyno Topo back on every time you leave the mode because it doesn't work otherwise. So remember, so just an overview, if you're not familiar with the Sculpt tool, it's very simple to use. You just select an object, go into Sculpt mode. If you turn on this button here, you get this little warning. It's okay, it's just telling you it's going to mess up the UVs, but that's fine. We haven't done anything with our UVs. And that little tick, what it does is it generates geometry as you sculpt. So you can see now as I'm sculpting, it's generating geometry. It's creating more triangles in the space. So this is just a really quick way to create some really nice detail. And I'm just creating a rocky feel to it. Now, another thing that's important to understand about the sculpt brush, so the closer you are to the geometry, the smaller the triangles are that it creates, right? So you can see right up here, it's creating lots of fine detail with these triangles. But further away, it's not actually creating like thousands of little triangles. They're all roughly the same size visually. And that's part of how this tool works. So bear that in mind. If you want to get a little more detail, you have to get in closer. So I'm just going to play with this, just creating lots of rock. It's so satisfying. Might push some in now. Create some inset areas. It was a little too crazy over here. I might smooth this section out. I also think I kind of want the bottom to sort of like be this pit, right? So you can't actually see the floor. So I'm going to use the grab. All right, so I can grab this and I'll just make this really big. So I can just come in here and like grab huge sections and I'm just going to drop them right off. Might switch my view to matte cap and go to the red. I'm going to switch back over to object mode and let's take a look at making this a bit cooler. I'm going to go ahead and go into edit mode and I'll take the face. So I'll hit 3 to select the faces and I'll delete that face. I'll hit 2 to go to edge mode. Alt click to select that top bit. And we're going to hit E to extrude and I'm going to turn off proportional editing. S to scale and I'll just bring it in and E, grab Z. I might do like a little like stair step thing. I think that could be kind of cool. And bring it in and then maybe down just a touch. One more. Something like that, I think. Could be quite nice. Let's do like a little trench kind of thing. Right down, and then we'll have this and come down like that. Scale and down like that, I think. All right, now I want to round it out, but at the same time, I don't want to get rid of these nice little edges. So we're going to use the bevel modifier, and then we're going to use the subdivision surface. And I will turn this up to 2. And I'll go into edit mode, and I'll Control R to create a loop cut. Oops, not there. Loop cut around the base, and I'll just drag this down. There we go. Go back into edit mode. I'm going to delete the bottom face. So select that bottom face, and then I'll grab the edge here with Alt, and there it is. E to extrude, grab that in, grab it down, back to my camera. Something like this maybe. And then let's do something cool. I'm going to go to face mode. I'm going to hold down Alt and select this bottom one, and then Control plus to come up to. And then I'm going to go up to select, and I'm going to go checker deselect, and that will deselect every second one. Although it hasn't quite worked with these guys. These guys, have, for some reason, oh, that's right, because it's a checker. I might hold down Alt and Shift. Come look right here on these guys, and Alt Shift and deselect that section there. We'll just let it be a gap because I think it would look cool anyways. And then I'm going to hit E to extrude, and I'm going to go Alt S to scale along normals. And we're going to go out like this. Let's see. Let's look at this thing straight on. Go into transparent mode. I'm going to hit 5 and 3 on my number keypad. So 5 will let me look at this in orthographic view, and 3 gives me the side view. And then hit B to box select, Shift, and I'm going to Shift select all these guys. So just have these bottom ones selected, right? And now I'm going to back into my camera, turn off transparent mode, hit E to extrude, grab Z, and drop these guys down like this, and then S to scale, and that's going to pull them out like that. Let's rotate this thing and center it right up where our stairs are going to be. And let's take this guy, and let's do something a little bit different with this one. Let's grab X, Is that going to work? Create like a little ramp. Let's do the checker deselect on one of these loops here. So select and checker deselect. And I want to alternate that. So I'm going to open this up, and I'm going to offset by 1. And I'm going to turn up the deselect to 2. And I'm going to, let's see, I'll hit I to inset. And go with that. I'm going to select individual because I want to kind of go in on each of them. And then let's see what happens if we go down with these guys. Is that going to be interesting, or is it better to go up? I think it's better to go up. So let's grab Z. We'll come up a little bit, and then E, grab Z, and we're going to scale in like this. And then I'm going to switch to individual origins and scale, and that will scale them all kind of around their own individual origin point. And let's see, come down just a little bit like this, and maybe rotate X. We go ahead and switch over. So we're going to switch over to Eevee. So I'm going to come over to Eevee. I'm going to turn on ambient occlusion, bloom, and screen space reflections. I'm going to turn on rendering, and I'm going to go for my world. I'm going to set it to black. Shift A, and let's create a, let's go for an area light. Rotate X 180. I want it to be pointing up. I'm going to bring it down into this center area, and I'm going to turn it up. Turn it to like 100 or something. Let's go up to 1,000. Just curious what it's going to take to fill that space. We'll probably put some lights here at the front near the camera. So I'm going to go Shift A, light, sun. Now, part of what's going to be cool about this is, yeah, not a sunlight, is keeping it really dark. I'm going to create a point light, and I will just bring it around, and I'll turn my widgets on so I can see it. And I'm just going to bring it into this back area, turn it up to 100. And I'm just going to use this to create a little bit of highlight in the space back here. I'm going to duplicate that light and grab X and bring this one right up here, just off camera. And this one we're going to bring it right down to like 50 maybe. And this is just going to bring us a little bit of light. All right, let's start getting a material going for this cave. So I'm going to click on the cave, come to my material tab, click new. And I'm going to split my view like this. And I'm going to come up here and go to the shader editor, close this out. And I'm going to zoom in a bit, turn off everything again. And let's get this looking cool. I'm going to darken it up, and I'm going to bring my roughness. I might make it really wet, it's like a wet cave. And let's grab a noise texture. a color ramp. Plug the factor in there. And we're going to grab a bump and bring the color into the height and the normal into the normal. Then I'm going to take the scale, turn it right up, make it real cavey. I'll take my distance down to 0.1. All right, so now we need to create a little more variety in this bump. So it's quite uniform at the moment. So what we need to do is possibly just use another noise texture and a texture coordinate node. And we're going to use a mix RGB node. We're going to take the generated, which is the vector that helps to place this texture on our mesh. It's using this by default, but we're going to be playing with it by mixing in just some noise into the values of this vector. So let's plug it into here. So nothing will change because I've got this set to 0. That load up, but now as I slowly introduce this, you can see it starts to break things up. All right, let's get some more color in now. So now we need some variation in the color in this rock. So what we'll do is we'll grab one of these noise textures and color ramps, bring them up here, and I'll plug this into the base color just as a start. And I'll take this off white. I'll bring it down. I might throw in a little bit of like a brown. Okay, now I'm going to create the artifact. Let's think about what this thing could be. I'm going to go Shift A and let's see, where's my 3D cursor? It's right in the middle. Let's try that. I'm going to go. Although it might be cool just to like subdivision surface, simple, and then where is it? Wireframe. And then just give it an emission. Let's go ahead and take our platform. We're going to click New, and I'm going to turn up metallic on this material and turn down roughness. Make it really, really, really like reflectant. There we go. I'll grab this thing and I'll add the metal material to it. And let's grab these faces. Go into face mode. Face, face. What we'll do is we'll click plus to create a new material, click new, click assign, and then we'll switch this to an emission shader. We'll turn it up so they glow. I might take the area light and let's give it this like subtle green color. I feel like it'd be nice to see a little bit more of our structure down here. So I might take, just moving this around to see what could look cool. I'm going to shade smooth because you can see that really, really looks nice now. Let me shade smooth. We're going to add some atmosphere into this. I'm going to go to my world shader and I'm going to grab a volume scatter node and I'm going to plug it into the volume. And then I'm going to set my density to 0.01. Just hide those back there. I'm going to turn them up a bit. I create a volume object in the scene. So if we go Shift A and let's create a volume empty, and then I'll drag it out of my lights collection because why does everything go in the lights collection? And Shift A and let's go mesh and cone. And let's grab it up and let's rotate it. And under 80, there it is. Grab Z and let's scale this thing up. And scale it up on the Z like this. Okay, so this is the object that we're going to use. So I'm going to go volume, add modifier, mesh to volume, and then I'm going to select my cone, which is also in my lights collection. So cone, there it is. And now I can take the cone and I can hide it. from my render and from visibility. And now I've got my volume. And let's make it a little more interesting. I'm going to duplicate it, scale it down. Okay, I'm going to select all these guys and just move them, find a better spot compositionally. Looks cool. What if we had like giant crystals or something like growing out of the... Would that be interesting? Like if I could a isosphere, right? And go into edit mode, go transparent, deselect everything, box select this top half, grab Z, scale Z. Or duplicate that. I'll take that over here, click new. And I would, let's see, turn transmission up and transmission roughness up. Open up my side menu, go to options, turn on alpha hashed, and then I'll turn on screen space. What's this one again? Screen space, refraction, and translucency, and then come over to my render tab. So many things to turn on. Come over to screen space reflections and turn on refraction. See, is this actually working? Yeah, there you go, as you can see. All right. Well, thanks for joining me today. Hope you really enjoyed this tutorial. Had a lot of fun making this. Now, if you want to go all the way with it and get to this final image, you need to go check out the Patreon where I've got this full uncut live stream you can have a look at there with all the details. I go into crazy detail with this, so I hope you have a lot of fun watching that. You can also get it on YouTube if you join at the All Access Pass level or higher. Thanks for watching. Hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed the video, and leave me a comment. Let me know what kind of tutorials you'd like to see in the future. Thanks so much. I will catch you in the next one. Until then, see you later.